I got my grandma here. I got my best friend Victoria and my best friend Stefan. And the topic today is kind of geared towards the Black community. So there's like multiple topics related to the Black community. So the first question we're going to start with
Look,
is
my
what
son's
does
foul. She said she don't want anything. I don't want anything. Sorry.
first question is what does the Black community need to do to get on track to create longevity of wealth?
Which one is he? Work together. We don't work together as a culture. We just don't. Which one is he? And it's because we're used, it goes back to slavery days. We're used to not having anything. So whenever we get a little bit, it's all about a competition.
Right.
And
It's not about
other, you
sharing. You
notice
gotta learn how to share.
other races, like for instance, I'll use Asians. They'll have 10, 12 people in a house and they'll live together, work together until everybody in that household has their own home. Everybody contributes.
Mhm.
Right.
Hispanics do the same thing. There he is back there. Number 20? I'll see what his number is. Look him up on your phone. Monty Bowser, Cal Berkeley. Yeah, and that's always been a problem with our race.
I agree. What do you say, Rick?
think Isaiah, I think
Yeah,
Mom's honking for you.
yeah, that's always been a problem with our race. I had a white person told me that. He said the difference in business between say blacks, whites, and everything. A white person is just as devious. Say they have a partnership.
Mm-hmm.
If and a black person has a partnership with somebody he knows, and say after a while, one of the guys they get tired because the other one, they start getting jealous of each other, and one tries to get more than the other, even though it's supposed to be a partnership, and so their partnership usually fails. Where a white person would handle that situation different. They might be having the same issues, but what they'll do, one of the partners will build up their money and buy out the other partner and still keep the
Right.
business going.
Right. More of a teamwork.
That's true.
A lot of black people don't have the aspect of teamwork and sharing what you like. If you know something, share your knowledge. You know what I mean? Because knowledge is power. And if I know something that's gonna help me, and I feel like it's gonna help another black person, I'm gonna give them what I know to maybe that they can, take the information that I just gave them to probably to help better themselves. You know what I mean? Now, whether or not they actually take that information, do better themselves is on them. But at least I was, um, you know, at least I was courtesy enough to pass along that information. You know what I mean? Just because I want to see the next black person fucking live the best life, just like I'm trying to live my best life. You know what I mean?
I agree with that. And then another problem is and this is somebody but I'm not going to name their name on the podcast, but they're in a position where they could hire black people. And I don't mean hire a person just because they're black, but if you have a qualified black person, why not give them a chance and hire them? Whereas a white person, an Asian person, if they have a qualified people of their race, they'll hire them. But a black person worries, well, I don't want to hire them because they're gonna say I hired them just because they black, instead of saying I hired them because they were the best qualified. We
Mm-hmm.
Right.
we do that to ourselves. Be like,
Right.
well,
Yeah.
nah, I know they're good and stuff. I'm not gonna hire them
But not
because
only that, But not only that, a lot of black people who own businesses are not willing to give other black people the chance because they're afraid that they're going to surpass them and take over whatever they got. And it's not even really about taking over what you got. It's not about you. It's not about me trying to intimidate you. It's really about me taking the knowledge from you to better myself and be able to better myself the same way you bettered yourself. You know what I mean? And a lot of black people have that mindset like, oh, well, I got here on my own, so you need to get here on your own. Like it's not that
Mhm.
simple. You know what I mean?
There's
Like,
several things that are issues
and
with this.
I'm
One,
sure. And I'm sure a lot of these, and it's not just black people, but since the topic's about black people, a lot of black people, yeah, you say I did this on my own, but did you really do it on your own? You know what I mean? I'm sure there was at least one person, at least one who helped you get to where you are. You know what I mean? And
Right.
some sort of process in your life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Man,
A
Like for
lot of
me,
people don't.
I feel like the black community lack financial literacy.
That was where I was about to go with it.
Get the money that we have. So just educating ourselves on how to work with our finances and how to budget for things is
Yes.
a big problem
Uh,
and priorities. But another
Yeah, I
thing
ain't
is,
gonna lie, 'cause my budgeting skills suck.
like you
I
were
ain't gonna
saying,
lie.
it's like kind of like that thing of like crabs in a barrel. Like blacks feel like they have to climb on top of each other to reach the top. But honestly, if people learn how to stay in their own lane, they will realize that their biggest competition is themselves.
Right. What's the saying? You are the demise of your. You are the cause of your own demise, or something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What do you say, Steph?
Honestly, I feel like a lot of people, a lot of the people in the black community will do a whole lot better if you just one, and this goes from both sides. One, give the help where you can give it, and then
Hmm.
two, be able to accept the help that is given to you. Because a lot of people have a hard time accepting help because they feel like you're trying to tell me what to do when really I'm just giving you advice. Whether or not you take that advice is your choice. But you actually have to be able to take it in and have an open mind and ear to really listen to what it is that I'm saying or whoever is talking to you, what they're saying. And a lot of people don't have that. Oh, you can't tell me nothing. I'm gonna get where I gotta be on my own. Like it's no, you need help. It takes a village. You know what I mean?
What do you think?
um, I was, all of y'all actually just kind of hit everything on the head. I was going to go with financial literacy, um, because that is something that, a lot of people just did not have access to in the beginning when they were first, like they started out and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, though I also don't want to use that as an excuse. We live in a different age nowadays. You're more than welcome to go ahead and sit down, look things up for yourself. I do, however, want to touch on what Victoria just said as far as people accepting help. Um, One thing that I was taught a long time ago in life is pride don't feed
No, it don't.
you. You need a lot of people do need to get over themselves and be able to accept help, accept criticism. There's also a need to be able to give constructive criticism instead of just criticism. You want to
Hmm.
criticize my business? Tell me what else I need to do. Help me find a better way to provide whatever service that I'm providing.
Good. So the question is, what are some hard reality checks that our community needs to discuss and fix?
God. Say that again.
What are some hard reality checks that our community needs to discuss and fix?
Stop destroying our own neighborhoods. Stop killing our own people.
Amen. I think we need to learn how to support one another because I feel like that's what we're lacking in right now. Like a small black business could be doing so well, but if it doesn't have a name brand or a big person behind it, our people won't support it. But then they want that support for themselves, and they wonder why they don't get it, and it's just like a domino effect.
Well, the other thing with black people, unfortunately, that when you do have something, they always want to hook up. Can you hook me
Yeah,
up? But they'll go
Want
pay
some
a
free
white person. They'll go pay a white person or a Chinese person. But if it's somebody black, oh, can I get a hookup?
Yeah,
You don't ask the when you go buy hair or whatever from the Chinese beauty supply, you don't ask them for a hookup.
that's true.
But if it's a
That's
black business, they always want a hookup.
yeah.
Especially if y'all cool. Like if y'all grew up together, they go like, oh, you grew up together, you know, you can give me the hookup. Like, wait, I understand I can give you a hookup or whatever, maybe a little family friends discount. But I'm also a business person. You know what I mean? I'm trying to grow my business, and I can't really grow my business if you're not gonna support me the way I need you to. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't get me
feel
wrong.
like
That shit is understanding. It's not.
Mm-mm.
Oh, I was saying yellow.
I feel like it should be, especially if they're your friend or your homie, somebody that you grew up with. Um, you see the vision, you know what they're trying to get into. That's all the more reason to support what they're doing. And I mean that ability to support what people are doing, you know, going out and purchasing their things at full price and stuff, that could be enough to just tell them, hey, keep going, you're doing good.
Mm-hmm.
Because people get discouraged through that.
They do. But what people got to realize too is support can be free as well. Like I feel like if you see your friend is out here, you're clearly watching them on social media and you see they out here trying to promote their business, why not share it?
Right.
It's free.
I mean, and support doesn't necessarily have to. It doesn't have to necessarily be purchasing something. Like it could just be spreading the word. You know what I mean? Like you be sending me your little candle discount thingies and whatnot. I'll be spreading the word. We're talking about it. You know what I mean? Especially now, especially that it's cold outside, and I know a hell of people that love fucking candles. Man.
Real.
Yeah. I mean,
Here and think of support, they think, oh, you want me to buy something. No, not necessarily. I mean, word of mouth is good enough. If you just spread the word that I'm doing something, that's enough for me. You know what I mean? Now, if you happen to buy something, even better. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to force you to buy something. I just want you to support me, whether that be physically, verbally, emotionally, you know what I mean? Spiritually. There's all different kinds of ways to support somebody.
Yeah, like why is it that like I just don't get it because it's like why is it that the people that know you feel like it's impossible for you to master a craft? Like when they find
You know
out
what
you're doing something, they automatically expect you to fail or it's not going to be good enough.
they say? Misery loves company. And they feel like they can't get up and do what they trying to, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
you know me, like, I already told you, I got two different ideas that I'm trying to pursue. I want to open up this food truck that I've been talking about for years, and I want to open up this new clothing line that I was just talking about. You know what I mean? And part of me feels a little discouraged because a lot of people that I have talked to, not you, but a bunch of other people go, well, what makes you think that the clothing line is going to pop off? Because a lot of people already have clothing lines, and it's like,
There's a
but
lot of brands that sell the same products. That don't mean they stop getting shopped at.
but you have to, you as an entrepreneur, well, me as an entrepreneur, or whoever else is as an entrepreneur, you have to be able to block out the negative. And for me, that was hard. For me, it is hard because I'm an emotional person, and a lot of people are close to me, what they say, it makes or breaks a lot of things. And I'm learning, and I have been for a while now, that motherfucker, you not paying my bill.
Right.
You is not in any way, shape, form, or fashion, and other than making me feel like I can't do shit with myself. So
Right.
that goes back to adapting to change. You know what I mean? That's also too, you want to pursue new things and open up a business or whatever the case may be, sell your candles, sell my t-shirt or my food or whatever the case may be. You have to be able to tell the ones that are negative or make you feel like you're not gonna make it and push them to the side. Like, yeah, we cool, but we not that cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be on a business, not on a level. And that's hard for me. I'm a people person. You know, once you under my wing, you there.
I know
And
it's
for me,
you're a Cancer, so it's like you're very emotional beings. It's not a
I
bad
am.
thing. It's just sometimes y'all. It's just y'all. Your guys' task is like learning how to master your emotions and not let them take over.
Yeah, I'm
And like
definitely
for
learning that shit.
Capricorn, our task is to bring forth a little bit more emotion with all this
Oh yeah.
logic that we're built up with. But I'm gonna move on to the next question. So it's not even really a question, it's really just a topic of discussion, but it's just talking about how we as a country need to learn how to develop better coping skills. And what I mean by that is, if you notice, like a lot of times in the US, when change arrives, you get like a lot of riots and a lot of pushback because people don't know how to adapt to change. But I feel like that comes with a level of being privileged and spoiled, that things are only one way that suits you, but they forget that there are other people that it may not suit. So I was just like, wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that about how we as a country need better coping skills.
That's on things needed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Okay.
started, Mom? Oh, she's on the phone.
Okay.
That
What
one.
was your question? I'm sorry. I was talking to Grandma.
It was really more of like a topic of discussion of like how we as a country need to develop better coping skills. So it's really just trying to get your thoughts about it, or if you agree, disagree.
Coping skills for life.
Yeah, and just change, adapt, being able to adapt to change.
It's hard to adapt to change for a lot of people because some people are trained from birth to be a certain way, to have certain thoughts, to have certain ideas, and all that. So it's very difficult. Well, Seth Gearing get his baby in the bath.
Yeah.
Oh, how cute! Yeah, and it's very hard. I mean, everybody. I think everybody, every race needs coping skills, but it's very, very difficult because so many things are embedded in us from our culture, from birth, from our parents, from our families, from our schoolmates, our friends, and
Yeah.
it's hard to get rid of some of that. I mean, I think this election you saw a lot with how some of the ideas of some of these younger white kids are changing, and even though some of them, their parents might be racist, but the reason why some of their ideas are changing, you have these white kids who go to these universities and they're meeting black kids at their schools and stuff, so they have a little bit of a different, so they're exposed to them, so they have a little bit of different ideology about how black people are versus what they've always been taught their whole life.
Right.
Agreed.
Mhm. But I think
Definitely.
everybody coping skills. I think everybody would benefit from some kind of coping skills. I mean, especially right now, what's going on in the world with the COVID,
Yeah.
people who lost
It's
their
like, but if
job.
you think about it, that's the primary example. COVID is showing you just how horrible the US is when it comes to coping with certain situations. Because if
Yeah.
you look at other countries, they obliged. They did what they had to do and their numbers went down. But the US, the numbers shoot up.
Yeah, because you had a president saying you don't need a mask. You know,
Yeah.
go
And
back to
people,
school.
I think people rely very heavily on leadership in terms of government instead of having common sense and knowing who they are as an individual. I think they look up to other people to define who they are too much.
Hmm.
Yeah, because once you know you, like really know you,
Hmm.
and I'm not there yet. I'm not even gonna lie. I ain't there. I'm getting there, but I ain't there. You know what I mean? I'm still learning new things about myself every day.
Facts.
So
It's an ongoing journey. You're gonna always learn new things about yourself as you grow.
Yeah, I'm 61 years old. I discover things about myself every day. There are certain things that I would have dealt with or put up with years ago, 5 years ago, that now I'm like, I'm not putting up with that shit,
Yeah.
because you
yeah,
evolve. Experience makes you evolve.
that would have been 6 months ago. Then I'm like, what the fuck? You better back up.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
Exactly.
it's just a matter of, developing that relationship with yourself and developing a conscious relationship with the world around you versus yourself. Like the dealings with COVID and the fact that we just continue to rise and everything like that. I mean, it's insane to me because it's like people would rather live with a situation that's making us worse off than deal with the situation.
Hmm.
I mean, that's more of that, the mentality of, I mean, I ain't from you. It's more the mentality of white people because they're like, they're not used to people telling them what to do and they being okay with
Privilege.
Exactly. And
it. Yeah.
didn't have a this COVID thing. It didn't go by how rich or poor you were. I mean, in some cases it did because we didn't get blacks and some Hispanics didn't get the medical care, that was available. But in some cases, there's people that died that, you know, it's like, okay, it's putting a different perspective on it. It's, there's whites dying too.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't. This is just from what I've seen and what I've been around. A lot of people are not taking this shit seriously. They not, because I know people who still have parties, house parties. They still go to house parties. People still going out to the club, like for Halloween. People still had Halloween parties. Like, what is that? Even Thanksgiving. You know what I did for Thanksgiving? Stay my black ass right here at the house
That's
with
what
my
I did.
mom and my
Exactly.
baby. I'm used to it made me feel like I'm used to having the big gathering here. You gotta adapt. You know what I mean? I video chatted a lot of people, but as far as being around people, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing
No, I feel you. I ain't gonna lie though. I had to go grab me a nice good old plate. But
I had people come over here to grab food. My friend Cameo came over and grabbed food, but she came, grabbed it, and then bounced. She didn't stay too long. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's protocol.
She grabbed her food, she spoke for 5 minutes, and she bounced.
Hmm. So the next topic is feminism. So before we even go into it, let's just define it. So it's the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of the equality of the sexes. Are you for feminism or do you feel like it's impossible for it to be kind of equal rights with everything.
It's impossible. It's impossible. Men are naturally stronger than women. I have some bad bitches that can whip a nigga's ass or whatever, but okay, that's far and few between. Men are naturally stronger. Men are naturally built for different types of jobs than we are. That's why you don't have a woman going out there and getting tackled in the NFL because they can't take the hits. They can't get their breasts and stuff hit, and all that kind of stuff. They just can't. And huh?
Let her finish her thought, and then you can give your thought.
Oh, and then as far as now, I think there can be more equality as far as intelligence. I think one species is just as intelligent as the other. I think the males are just as intelligent as the females. Females are just as intelligent as the males. I think in some situations the females are more intelligent. In other situations, men may be more intelligent. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
is that's just the way it is. But I think intelligence is the one area where we can be equal. But I don't think, but I think a woman should be able to go out and get any type of job that she wants. She should be able to have the opportunity to go
Right.
and apply for any job that she wants to apply for. She should have that
Mm-hmm.
opportunity. Whether she gets it or not, that's a different story. But she should have that opportunity and that right to be able to apply for any job that a man applies for.
Hey, it's a big ass issue.
Hmm.
But I feel like, to me, feminism is kind of like an oxymoron because I feel as though, although you're fighting for quote unquote feminine rights, it's almost like you're fighting for masculine rights, but calling it feminism. But I feel like it's an imbalance if you do that because you have to have, as an individual, you kind of have to have an equal balance of feminine and masculine energy. If one overtakes the other, I feel like things go wrong. Like if somebody's hard all the time but lacks emotion like a feminine being would, there's an imbalance.
I mean, you can look at the way men treat sex a lot of times. For men, it's just a
Hmm.
physical. For not all the time, not if they're with somebody who they want to be with, but for men, a lot of times that's why you hear men all the time. Oh, that didn't mean nothing. That was just I just wanted to bust a nut. It didn't mean shit. But
Yeah.
women get emotionally entwined if they have sex with somebody. And it's just the way our the different emotions of a male and a female. A female will get if they're sleeping with somebody, our feelings tend to get more into it. A male, when they say that uh, I'm not making an excuse for them, but when they
Hmm.
say that no, it was just a physical thing, I just wanted to bust a nut. Oh no, I don't like that girl. I could give to it was just I just she was there available and I just needed to bust a nut. It's a physical thing.
Right. What say you, Steph?
I mean, so this is where I stand on feminism. Hmm, I personally believe that there's the mentality behind feminism is like it's got its heart in the right place, but the actions aren't always matching up. Uh, I would consider myself a feminist because, yeah, I want to see women not have to have a hard time for being able to do the same things or going after the same things that their male counterparts can.
Mm.
Um, however, there are occasions where I do watch feminism become less of a race for equality and more of a thing about um, bashing. with.
Mm.
Um, and all I mean by that is sometimes you'll be trying to meet somebody halfway, but that halfway isn't enough for them. And in some cases that halfway isn't going to be enough for women. I mean, like for example, with the pay gap, right?
Yeah.
The fact that women on average are making about 15 to 25 cents less than on the dollar than their male counterpart. And then, depending on what ethnicity you are, like black women are making even less than that. Um, on that end, yeah, there's gonna have to be a move to go further than just reaching somebody halfway. However, um,
You're a double minority
see,
at that point, black
yeah,
and a
yeah,
woman.
yeah, that's a tough situation to live in, and it's
Well,
fucked
not
up.
just that. I mean, I feel black men can't get a lot of white collar jobs. I see qualified black men all the time. They got their degrees and stuff, and these corporations will not hire them, even though they're qualified. They will
That
not
too.
hire them.
I think
So they're
that
at a big disadvantage. If they have a little bit of a chance to get hired, it's usually a white woman that will hire them.
I think that more often than not, um, while I do consider myself feminist, there are some efforts in feminism that do hurt women, mostly because feminism, um, as it's structured today, is largely a white woman construct, and it hurts black women in some instances because they're not looking out for what black women have to deal with. Yeah, you want
Yep.
some of the more equal things, but you're not looking at what a black woman or a Hispanic woman or an Asian woman has to go through in comparison to you. So, like, to me, if you're gonna claim yourself as a feminist, you have to go after equal rights on everything. So it can't just be, well, these men are treating me that wrong, they're not hiring me. How about these men and these police officers are unlawfully targeting black women and holding them up, and they dying in prisons? Ain't nobody really talking about that.
Yep.
But if you claim yourself to be a feminist, that's something you need to be talking about.
I agree with you. So the next question is, do you believe in the art of multitasking? Do you think it's possible and that you could be successful with it?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Explain.
Explain multitasking.
Like how it can be like do you like the fact that you believe in it, but why? Like how do you think it's possible that you can successfully multitask?
You just you just gotta know how to prioritize. It's all about prioritizing, and it's all about not stressing yourself, trying to basically learning how to do multiple things without overwhelming yourself and letting it all eventually stress you out.
I think
Because you
black
could do it.
Yeah, I think black people are the experts at it because we've been forced to do it. I mean, especially back in the day, a lot of the single black mothers, they had to be a mother, they had to be the provider, they had to sometimes work two, three jobs to, make ends meet. I
Mm-hmm.
think black women have been the example, and men have been the example of the ultimate multitaskers.
Even still to this day.
Hmm. I don't know, like for me, I feel like something is always gonna get left half-ass done if you're
Not necessarily.
I mean, for me, I feel like once you have stability in one task, then I can understand you moving on to a next. But I feel like if you're trying to multitask multiple things that none of them are at a stable place, I feel like something's gonna fall short on one of them.
Yeah, well, sometimes you don't have a choice.
But
But
then
that's what I
also too,
mean about can it really be successfully done? And that's
it
why I
can,
asked
it
that.
can. And like I said, it's all about prioritizing. Because if you prioritize all your little stuff and trying to multitask little things, and all your little stuff may get done. But if you try to multitask one big thing on your plate with all these little things, then maybe some of that little stuff might get missed because you're so focused on this big thing. You see what I'm saying? So if you
Mhm.
prioritize, okay, let me knock out all my little stuff first and work my way up to my big goal or my big whatever the case may be, then you can do that. But trying to put everything on your plate and trying to handle everything in one day, that is what causes people to spin themselves into a dark hole and then end up depressed and feeling like life is just not it. You know what I mean? It's all about prioritizing and knowing how much you can handle.
I agree. But you said yes, Mama.
Yeah, but I got to get ready to get off.
Okay. So the
Stefan left.
last, huh?
Stefan left.
Yes, he had to go. He's doing another podcast. But the last question I was gonna ask is, where can we bring love back in the fold into the Black community, given that it's kind of been lost?
We have to start believing in each other and trusting each other again. I mean, we don't have no more big mamas that were used to be the glue of the family. Your
Right.
big
Mm.
mom back in the day, your big mamas, they were the glue. They kept everybody knew on Sunday you go up at Big Mama's house. I don't care if you mad at this motherfucker or that motherfucker. You better have your ass at Big Mama's house Sunday for Sunday dinner. And everybody gonna sit around, everybody gonna talk, everybody gonna get along. You don't have no more of your big mamas. You don't have no more glue. You need that glue to bring everything together. Families are missing the glue of their family, the nucleus of their families now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like there's a lack of love because people fear love.
I don't think that's it. I don't think people fear love. I think people
I
are selfish. I think people are out for themselves too much nowadays. People don't have time to love. People all people worry about, I got to get mine. 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 They don't have any compassion or care for the other person. Everybody's all about themselves.
But I don't know. I just feel like our Black community can be
Fine.
like a little hard shelled sometimes. And
Which is fine.
I do feel strongly that they do fear love because I feel like love itself wouldn't be scary if you knew how to love yourself. I feel like it's only scary when you're afraid to learn and understand who you are as an individual because you're scared of yourself or you're not happy with who you are as a person.
Well, yeah, if you're not happy with if
So
you're not happy with yourself as an individual, can't nobody make you feel happy. Can't nobody love you. Can't like people can, but it's never gonna really feel the way you want it to or the way it should feel because you don't have that love for yourself. You know what I mean? Self love is the most important, and then once you love yourself, you can love and give love and show love to anybody in
right.
any type, not just the relationship wise. I mean, in any type of way. You know what I mean? You you once you love yourself, being able to show the next person some love, it won't be like it won't be so hard. It'll be easy.
I agree with that.
That's the same thing going back to the whole supporting each other in the businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody gonna really support you if they don't love themselves. Because now they mad that you got now they mad that you got what you got and they don't. So they mad within themselves. So now it's like, oh well, she could do that. I ain't gonna support her. I ain't even gonna share her shit. I ain't gonna do nothing because misery loves company. And if you don't love yourself, you're gonna try to pull people into the same energy you got.
Exactly, and that's why you got to be very careful what energy you bring to you, because
Everybody that's
all skin folk ain't kin folk,
Hmm.
and we know this.
the
Hmm.
grass is not always greener on the other side.
Nope, you need to water that shit.
Hmm.
That's the difference. People think it's greener. You need to water it and plant those damn seeds and see how it get green.
The 80-20 rule. You're only gonna get
Damn, was the Popeye shrink good? But I'm about to stop the recording. But thank y'all. Hold
okay.
on.
Okay.